Okay. Hey, so visions, talking about visions, drug-free visions. Yeah, if you're not eating enough, if you're not drinking enough, if you are out in the hot sun for the majority of the day, especially, excuse me, when that coolness of the night hits, you will get visions drug free. I promise you. Go to the beach for a day, fast for a day, and try to relax at night with that wandering mind. Drug free, you will get visions, people. Um, amen. So again, these people too, that it's like low calorie for months on end. So just imagine, that type of vision. um, we can say that they were probably eating like a lot of strange fruits, but again, this is in the wilderness. This is, there's not too much around in terms of foliage, but they're gonna dream about it. They're gonna have visions of it, okay? Because this is part of the promised land. All right. So let's go ahead and start here. Chapter 8. Lehi sees a vision of the tree of life. He partakes of its fruit and desires its family to do likewise, his family. He sees a rod of iron, a straight and narrow path, and the mist of darkness that enshroud men. Okay, Sarai, his wife, or Sariah, excuse me, Sariah, his wife, Nephi and Sam, his sons, partake of these fruit, but Laman and Lemuel refuse. This is about 600 BC to 592 BC. All right. And it came to pass that we had gathered together all manner of seeds of every kind, both of grain of every kind, and also of the seeds of every fruit of every kind. And it came to pass that while my father tarried in the wilderness, he spake unto us, saying, Behold, I have dreamed a dream, or in other words, I had seen a vision. And behold, because of the thing of which I seen, I have reason to rejoice in the Lord, because of Nephi and also of Sam. For I have reason to suppose that they and also of many of their seed will be saved. But behold, Laman and Lemuel I fear exceedingly because of you. For behold, methought I saw in my dream a dark and dreary wilderness. And it came to pass that I saw a man, and he was dressed in a white robe, and he came and stood before me. And it came to pass that he spake unto me, and bade me to follow him. And it came to pass that I followed him, and I beheld myself that I was in a dark and dreary waste. And after I traveled for the space many hours in darkness, I began to pray unto the Lord that he would have mercy on me according to the multitude of his tender mercies. And it came to pass, after I had prayed unto the Lord, I beheld a large and spacious field. And it came to pass that I beheld a tree whose fruit was desirable to make one happy. And it came to pass I did go forth and partake of the fruit of thereof. And I beheld that it was most sweet, above all before I've ever tasted. Yeah, I beheld the fruit thereof, and it was white to exceed all the whiteness that I've ever seen. Okay, so this is talking about a white fruit, and again, just paying attention to our very simple symbolism. What does white represent in what we had discussed previously, you guys? Wisdom, okay? White is wisdom. Don't think skin color. Don't be one of those lame ass and think skin color. Okay, white is referring to wisdom. So this is what this is doing here. As I'm grabbing my charger out of the nether regions here. Okay, as I partook in the fruit of thereof, it filled my soul with exceedingly great joy. Wherefore I began to be desirous that my family should partake in it also, for I knew that it was desirable above all other fruit. And I cast my eyes round about that perhaps I might discover my family also. I beheld a river of water, and it ran along, and it was near the tree of which I was partaking. Near the tree of which I was partaking the fruit. And I looked to behold from whence it came, and I saw head thereof a little way off. And at the head thereof I beheld your mother, Sariah and Sam and Nephi, and they stood as if they knew not whither they should go. And it came to pass that I beckoned unto them. And I also did say unto them with a loud voice that they should come unto me and partake of the fruit, which was desirable above all other fruit. And it came to pass that they did come unto me to partake upon the fruit also. And it came to pass that I was desirous that Laman and Lemuel should come and partake of the fruit also. Wherefore I cast mine eyes towards the heads of the river, and perhaps I might see them. And it came to pass that I saw them, but they would not come unto me and partake upon the fruit. And I beheld a rod of iron, and it extended along the bank of the river, and led to the tree by which I stood. Okay, so let me pause here, right? So we're getting this vision, right, from Lehi. And again, we have to go to our symbolism, the rod of iron. Remember what iron is when we were discussing that giant statue? Okay, iron represents, if we're just thinking of it in the terms that it was described, we were discussing Daniel's visions and the king's visions. It was the legs. Okay, what are the legs made out of? Iron and clay. What is that representing? Come on, people. I'm thinking of that teacher meme here. Okay, legs of iron and clay. That is the strong faith of the Christians, strong faith of the Christians, the unbreakable faith of iron, strong faith of the Christians, and then the clay mixed into the legs of iron, which is like we call it maybe New Age, right? New Age wisdom, which is really old age wisdom that's kind of been, softened, if you will, softened, baked, if you will. Okay, so it's that new age wisdom that's mixed with this strong faith of Christianity. Because remember, we said the Christians were divided, the Romans, right? The Roman faith was divided, and that's how we get that mixture of iron and clay mixed together. These are the legs. Okay, so just think of that statue, right? Think of the statue and the legs going up, right? I ascended along the bank of the river, led to the tree which I stood, and also beheld a straight and narrow path which came along the rod of iron. Okay, so we're thinking of like a path next to iron, which are also the legs. What is like a straight and narrow canal, if you will? A canal. Think of like a birth canal. I'm not going to get explicit on you today, but think about that symbolism, okay? Because it makes sense reading down. Okay, which I came along rod of iron, and even beheld a straight and narrow path which came along by the rod of iron, even to the tree by which I stood, and it also led by the head of a fountain. Okay, so a fountain with the narrow path. Okay, maybe we get it. Unto a large and spacious field, as it have been a world, as it have had as if it had been a world. So think about going up the birth canal. Sorry. Okay, going up the birth canal, and think about that large and spacious field that is a world, right? A galaxy, a multiverse of galaxies that is the womb. Okay, that is the womb, that is the women's womb, right? And so he's getting these images, but just to bring out the English teacher in me, this is the symbolism behind it, period. Okay, I saw numberless concourses of people, many of whom were pressing forward that they might obtain that path which led into the tree by which I stood. And it came to pass that they did come forth out the birth canal and commence the path which led to that tree, right? Tree of wisdom, life, right? Tree of life. And it came to pass that there arose a mist of darkness, yeah, even exceedingly great mist of darkness, insomuch that they who had, hi, Mama, oh, my little baby girl, my little Chi Chi came in. Hi, Chi Chi. Mama's gonna feed you. Give me a few minutes. The mist of darkness, yet even exceedingly great mist of darkness, insomuch that they who had commenced in the path did lose their way, and they wandered off and were lost. Okay, so again, thinking about the greatness and glory that is a woman's body, right? And how much that is objectified, wronged, and used. What happens? That darkness comes over you. You have wandered off the path. You are lost because you have used that woman to satisfy your desires instead of producing life, right? Period. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, and it came to pass that I beheld others pressing forward, and they came forth and caught hold that the end of the rod of iron, excuse me, pressing forward, and they came forth and caught hold of the end of the rod of iron. And they did press forward through the mist of darkness, clinging to the rod of iron, even until they did come forth and partake in the fruit of the tree. So they're clinging to this concept of Christianity. They're clinging to this concept of New Age mysticism, right? And then they're eventually reaching that fruit of the tree of life. So the fruit of the tree of life is wisdom, period. Sorry. I mean, there's literally a period there, so sorry. Okay. And after they had partaken of the fruit of the tree, they did cast their eyes about as if they were ashamed. Okay, so just like Adam and Eve when they ate the fruit, okay, their eyes were open, they realized that they were naked, and that shame is cast upon them. And I also cast my eyes round and about, and beheld on the other side of the river of water a great and spacious building, and it stood as if it were air in the air, high above the earth. And it was filled with people, both old and young, both male and female. Their manner of dress was exceedingly fine, and they were in the attitude of mocking and pointing their fingers towards those who had come at and were partaking of the fruit. And after they had tasted the fruit, they were ashamed because of those that were scoffing at them, and they fell away into forbidden paths and were lost. And now I, Nephi, do not speak all the words of my father. But to be short in writing, behold, he saw other multitudes pressing forward, and they came and caught a hold of the end of the rod of iron, and they did press their way forward continually, holding fast to the rod of iron until they came forth and fell down and partook in the fruit of the tree. And he also saw other multitudes feeling their way towards that great and spacious building. And it came to pass that many were drowned in the depths of the fountain, and many were lost from his view, wandering in strange roads. And great was the multitude that did enter into that strange building. And after they did enter into that building, they did point the finger of scorn at me and those that were partaking of the fruit, but we heeded them not. These are the words of my father, for as many as heeded them and had fallen away, these are the words of my father, for as many as heeded them and fallen away. And Laman and Lemuel partook not of the fruit, said my father. And it came to pass, after my father had spoken all the words of his dream or vision, which were many, he said unto us, because of these things which he saw in a vision, he exceedingly feared for Laman and Lemuel. Yea, he feared lest they should be cast off from the presence of the Lord. And he did exhort them with all the feeling of tender parent that he would hearken to his words, that perhaps the Lord would be merciful to them, and not cast them off. Yeah, my father did preach unto them. And after he had preached unto them, he also prophesied unto them the many things he bade them to keep, the commandments of the Lord. And he did cease speaking unto them. Okay, so again, the drama between Laman and Lemuel continue, and Lehi, right? Because it's interesting, right? Because Lehi also starts with an L, so it's Lehi, Laman, and then their son Lemuel, and then we have Lehi's sons Nephi and Sam, right? Of Sariah. I keep wanting to say Sariah. So let's go ahead and close out here. I'm gonna let you guys sit with this one. God bless you guys. I am gonna turn on the AC because do you see what's going on? The glisten, like it's a good little temperature here. Enjoying the sauna. Ooh, I just get so pumped up after I come and talk to you guys. We're gonna go ahead and do chapter 9 and chapter 10 after a short commercial break. Love you so much.